So, wrapping up, in Dragon Age 2, the characters were good, but not fantastic. In Act 1, the main plot could have been seen as Varric's plot, as well as his little side story later, and Act 2's main plot could have been seen as Aveline's. The two characters that have no reason to be here are Fenris and Isabella. Though those two are not plot integral, each character brings a personal viewpoint, and each has some story to share with one another in a number of entertaining and personal casual conversations. These group asides are the best part of the narrative. Meryl is consistently naive and adorable. Varric and Isabella are charming rogues. Aveline is steadfast. Bethany is sweet and caring. Sebastian is gentle and pious. Anders, and Carver and Fenris need to be thrown off a cliff. I didn't, however, appreciate Anders' hypocritical view of Meryl, but I really appreciated Sebastian's story alongside his decision to chase after Anders with an army at the end, and apparently the city, should he decide to spare Anders' life. Although obviously Sebastian was just being emotional about destroying the city. This is interesting because Sebastian's story involves being conflicted with wanting to take back his homeland or live a solitary life as a brother in the Chantry. Anders' actions in Act 3 change all that. In fact, that makes Sebastian the best character because his arc occurs on the main plot, as a result of Hawke's choice to spare Anders. Sebastian's romantic inklings also imply an alliance between Starkhaven and Kirkwall should the rival female Hawke become Viscount, and should Sebastian rule Starkhaven. Of course, this development never occurs, which continues to make me feel like a chapter was missing.
I will offer you no less than a prince.
The friendship rivalry system is interesting, but unfortunately the choices I make result in random effects, so I don't really have the option of being consistent, nor do I personally care for such and such characters when I'm more interested in the main plot and the choices I make in it. Because, it's the main plot. Foolish me, none of my choices impact the plot. And if it weren't for every Qunari character, which are all excellent, Act 2 and Mother Patrice, Dragon Age 2 would have been a pretty lame story. It would be like Dragon Age Origins didn't have Loghain in a Landsmeet scene. One thing that Dragon Age 2 does that is original and very commendable is compounding dialogue choices to form the semblance of a general attitude. This is a natural evolution of a dialogue wheel, which is borrowed from a game we shall not name. If you're the nice, mean, or goofy guy, then that attitude gets played out in subsequent dialogue scenes. This surprised me because I ended up mostly playing a purple character due to the dialogue choices in one act, but ended up being a blue character in Act 3. This is a very simple way of making Hawke come alive as a person, based on one's previous dialogue choices and not some ridiculous ethical meter. Now, if only this was a result of character development as well, then I'd really admire the technical, artistic, and literary skills of the Dragon Age 2 team, because it would have given us a person who actually changes based on our choices. Doing so would downplay the issue of the main plot because we could focus on Hawke's emerging character and it would become a character-driven narrative through this new media of storytelling. Regardless of what you think of the system or the content of the dialogue and all that, the voice actors are exceptional. It's a shame there weren't enough scenes to showcase their talents though, although I get the feeling Meryl's actress had the most fun because her range of scenes and annotation is the largest out of all the other performances.
Oh, that's very clever then.
For my last point, which is completely subjective, so don't read too much into it, I think is also the most important, which Dragon Age 2 doesn't have that I was really looking for, was this. Whatever that magical, ethereal feeling is, it's missing. Apparently Enon Zur tried to make the Hawke family theme be even more intimate and personal. He probably succeeded. However, with almost the entire family gone, even without having Gemlin in the house, well, it kind of fails. There's really nothing special about the Hawke estate. The campfire music from the first game is sublime. It makes us feel that our motley crew is doing something special, bigger, something subtle that's beyond a simple hero's journey. It defines the plight of the protagonist as a Grey Warden. The camp is a place to recuperate and learn about each other in that post-plot recap where everyone has something to say about what's going on. I don't know what this is or what idea or feeling is, but everyone is connected in that hard to describe way. Maybe that's when you know you have a good plot, that when characters that have that indescribable value that just push it along. When the amount of volition needed is so small that it's an effortless task in the willing suspension of disbelief, we can easily get lost in the narrative to enjoy that magical world of the story. The story becomes compelling. It makes us stay up all night to see where our characters are taking us next. Dragon Age 2 never really did that for me, despite being lauded as a more personal tale. Amidst a series of bugs, broken quests, and some poor storytelling here and there, there's still some good stories and plots to appreciate, and a series of talented actors, artists, and engineers to tell a tale of a motley crew reacting to the world around them.
Want a sandwich?
You will be an inspiration to generations of romantic poets.